Hello, Brother Wong. I just started following you at the beginning of this year, and I've watched some of your previous videos. They've been really enlightening. Thank you for sharing your life experiences so sincerely. I've already become a citizen of a Nordic country. My job is easy, the income is decent, and life is simple and happy. Other than the cold, I don't really have much to complain about. I come from an academic background, but I'm not doing academic work anymore because I've become disillusioned with academia. Recently, I came across an article about a couple, both of whom were in academia. The wife quit her teaching position in Hong Kong for her husband and moved to the United States. But she couldn't find a teaching job while her husband was on the tenure track. The tenure path, which we all look up to, didn't go smoothly for him either. Later, he developed cancer and recently passed away. The wife wrote a eulogy filled with both love and resentment. After reading it, I felt very conflicted. My worldview was thrown into chaos, and I haven't figured out how to rebuild it yet. Then he sent me a link, which I'll share in a moment. I haven't read the eulogy yet. The article is titled, In Memory of Xiao Hong. Chen Lang, please redo the drunken song. This young scholar who passed away was still worrying about unpublished papers even while undergoing chemotherapy. Damn, even while going through chemotherapy, he was still thinking about those unpublished papers. I'll rant about this more in a bit. He really was driven stupid by studying, damn it. Even though he's dead, I won't spare his dignity. It all feels a bit surreal to me. I can understand him, but the way he invisibly deprived his wife in daily life makes it hard for me to truly sympathize with him. As for his wife, who wrote the essay, I feel a real sense of regret. She sacrificed herself for her husband. The academic world is just another pyramid scheme. Advisors exploit students, and the one with a family ends up with a successful career. And none of it can happen without the sacrifices of family members. Is it really worth it for this illusion of academic achievement? Not to mention, so much research is actually meaningless. As you've always emphasized, choosing the right path matters more than working hard. I think if you choose to enter academia, you have to accept the rules of this field, where the outcomes are extremely polarized. Personal effort pales in comparison to academic factions or connections. This rule applies everywhere in academia, doesn't it? My academic journey has been relatively smooth, attending top universities in China and so on, blah blah. But because he went abroad to study, he didn't succeed in returning to China to become a professor. A professor at a prestigious university. His original life goal was to become a professor in China. But now, people who didn't do as well as him academically have already achieved that goal, while he can only stay in Northern Europe. He feels a sense of disappointment and imbalance in his mind and body. You could say that he's also studied so much that he's become a bit foolish, and his mind is a little troubled. But he is self-reflecting because he watched Lao Wang's videos, so there's still hope for him. As for the one who got cancer and that person's wife, it's probably hopeless for them. Brother Wang, if I naively return to China without any connections and can't find a job, I have my doubts about that. Maybe now I don't know if I'll have to face the curse of up or out, meaning if you don't publish papers or get projects and grants within a few years, you'll be dismissed by the university. Of course you will. Who do you think you are? If you go back to China, you won't have the happy and relaxed Nordic lifestyle anymore. You definitely won't be able to fit in. I've left academia and my anxiety and worries have lessened a lot, but I still haven't let go of my fascination with academia. I haven't managed to change my title to professor. I always feel like there's some regret. I know, as the saying goes, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have it both ways, but still. It's just that in the quiet of the night, I still get tangled up about who I really am. You, Brother Wang, have such a steady worldview and a clear understanding of the world. I really hope you have time to give me some guidance. If I, who haven't fully let go of my fascination, could say a few words on your show and let more people hear them, that would be great. I think quite a few highly educated people who have stayed overseas probably have a similar sense of unresolved feelings. A vivid example would be a liberal arts professor from a top university like 985 who goes abroad and ends up driving a taxi, though at least in Northern Europe, driving a taxi isn't looked down upon. Your loyal viewer here, thank you for the online courses. Well, I guess it's my turn to start ranting now, so get ready. Brace yourself. You so-called highly educated types, all you so-called PhDs, are nothing but useless scholars, one after another. Even though I'm also a scholar and came out of a university myself, I know all too well just how hypocritical, how incompetent, and how well these so-called faculty members from universities really are. Their contributions to this society, to this world, are utterly insignificant, yet they go around acting like they're so important. It's like a pig with a scallion in its nose pretending to be an elephant. If you can actually do something practical to contribute to society, even if you're just driving a taxi, that's far better than wasting your days in that corrupt academic circle. How many of you can truly apply what you've learned to change human society? Honestly, aren't most of you just parasites scrambling for petty gains? I won't criticize others. Let me just criticize myself. Is that okay? When I had just graduated from university and entered a government agency, I was only 24 or 25 and still had opportunities. Back then, there wasn't even a term like the one you used, kiemai, and there were still chances to go to the Academy of Social Sciences for graduate or doctoral studies or whatever. When the path of further studies was still open in front of me, I made this choice at the time. I decided to learn scuba diving. It was either the year 2000 or 1999, I forget. Yeah, 1999. I was 24, and in Beijing, I wanted to learn scuba diving. Do you guys think I was crazy? Let me tell you, I wasn't crazy at all, because at that time, I just wanted to think outside the box and step out of my comfort zone. I wanted to see another world. Back then, I was really just very simple-minded, just wanted to get something to eat, brothers, just go for it. Brothers, I wanted to see what the non-human world underwater was really like. That was my one and only real impulse. Actually, I originally wanted to learn how to fly. I originally wanted to join a flying club because I wanted to experience what it felt like to be a bird. But then, outside the People's Hospital, I saw two young guys from the flying club who had broken their legs coming out, and that made me change my mind. Otherwise, I figure if I landed in Tiananmen Square, it wouldn't be a happy ending. That's Wang Jizhu. I could totally do something like that. So instead, I went to the Beijing Longyuan Diving Club with Wang Gang. He's now called Wang Yikun, also a guy from Beijing, and I started learning there. I learned how to dive, and my first open water dive was at Shangzhuang Reservoir in Shangzhuang, Chengping. When I free dived down, I saw those fish, rows and rows of them, shimmering silver, swimming right past me at the bottom of the water. Even though it was just a reservoir, I was already way too excited. I was carrying an air tank on my back, not an oxygen tank, that's the wrong term, an air tank with my head down and my butt up. I was in a meditative sitting posture. Pressed against the water's surface, I was meditating upside down. If you picture it with my head down, you can imagine it. It looked like I was sitting cross-legged on the water, meditating, but actually, I was upside down. With the tank on my back, the regulator in my mouth, and my eyes closed, I meditated. I was experiencing a kind of life insight I had never felt before. I felt it was worth it, more worthwhile than getting a master's or a PhD. And then when I went to Dalian, when I went out to sea for real ocean diving, the underwater world I saw truly enriched my life experience. The knowledge I gained and the horizons I broadened was so much better than wasting my time getting that useless master's degree at the Academy of Social Sciences. It was so much better than just continuing to take more exams. All that stuff I studied for exams, I didn't even believe in it myself, and neither did the people who wrote those books. Their graduate textbook had 15 chapters, and unbelievably, it was written by 5 different people. There were 5 authors for that textbook, and because each of them was responsible for just 1 or 2 chapters, the terminology and the translated terms they used were all inconsistent. That's how sloppy it was. This is the kind of thing the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences does. What's the point of wasting my time on that just to get that medal? I'd be better off exploring the unknown world for myself. I'd be better off really learning English, reading Western books and magazines, even if it's something like Tiger, Dragon, Leopard. No, not Tiger, Dragon, Leopard, even if it's Playboy, Penthouse, or Hustler. All of that would be more useful than that stuff. At the very least, I'd get to see a world I didn't know about. That's why it's so important to step out of your comfort zone and change your way of thinking. It's extremely helpful for your life journey and for seeing through the illusions of this world. English gives you the tools, And then you just have to bravely jump into an environment you know nothing about and go for it, brother. I had never thought about it before. What if I drown? What if my bright future is ruined? What if I can't learn it? What if I'm underwater? What if there's no air left in the air tank? I never used to think about so many things, you know? I was only 25. Such amazing life experiences. I once had a layover at Taoyuan Airport in Taipei. At that time, I planned out the fastest route to transfer through Taoyuan Airport in Taipei. But I didn't have a Taiwan visa, because to get a Taiwan visa, you have to apply directly at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of China in Taipei. They promised to give it to you within 24 hours, but I couldn't be sure if they'd actually give it to me. Because we didn't renew my mainland travel permit for Hong Kong and Macau in time. That's the Chinese document. I didn't have it. But applying from the Republic of China side is faster, so I applied through the Republic of China. After that, I bought a plane ticket and flew directly to Taipei to transfer. If the Republic of China hadn't approved my application, I would have been screwed and would have had to take the original flight back. What I mean is, in order to be efficient, I had to meet that investor. He was on vacation on a small island at the time, so I had to fly over as quickly as possible. At this point, I had to take on some risk. I did a rough assessment and thought, first, I'm pretty lucky. I can't be that unlucky. I should be quite fortunate. Second, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of China in Taiwan is probably pretty professional. If they say 24 hours, they should be able to get it done in 24 hours. I filled out the form and just went. After that, I spent my time in the plane in the VIP lounge. Sure enough, as soon as I arrived, I received the electronic form by email. I just found a printer at the airport and printed it out. Where could I find a printer? I just went to any service counter at Taipei Airport. I can't even remember if it was EVA Air or China Airlines. I just said, could you please print this out for me? Thank you. I had to ask for help because I didn't have a printer. This was for my Taiwan visa, and I needed to transfer flights, which meant I had to go to another terminal. So I had to go through immigration and then re-enter. They printed it for me very enthusiastically, and I didn't encounter any problems at all. I didn't need to make any meticulous arrangements. If your whole life is spent making meticulous arrangements, what's the point of living? You've made a philosophical mistake. The error of existence is your very existence. Is it that you, as an individual, as a being, truly exist in this world as reality, or are you just a part of a massive virtual existence of humanity as reality? I think it's obvious that you are the second case. So why do you insist on seeing yourself as the protagonist on the stage, as reality, when you're not even the protagonist, not even the protagonist booger? So you just need to follow the crowd. Most of the time, as long as you get the elevator right, you'll go up. Why are you overthinking things, standing at the elevator door fiddling with your calculator? By the time you're done, the elevator's already gone. See? So reading too many books is really useless. These are just some of my personal thoughts. Today, I'm just sharing some initial thoughts to get the conversation started. My experience is that I'm not as rigorous and meticulous in doing things as you might imagine. When I decide to learn something, I really dive deep. I'll stay up late working until 3 a.m. and won't stop until I fully understand it. But when it comes to making choices about the direction of my life, I just get a general sense. And once I feel it's about right, I bravely move forward. Take action on the road, brothers. When the time comes, we'll deal with things as they come. Why overthink it? Can you really figure everything out just by thinking? Man proposes, God disposes. Who do you think you are? So honestly, even if the words sound blunt, the